Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. So today we are back with the following list of topics to discuss. So let's start. The first topic says about the India's support to Sri Lanka in giving assurances to the International Monetary Fund on becoming the first of Sri Lanka's creditor to officially back the crisis-hit island nation's DAP restructuring program. So today we know that Sri Lanka has got its three biggest bilateral creditors, China, Japan, and India. Okay, so recently we have seen that India sends financing assurances to IMF amongst the three countries to back Sri Lanka's debt restructuring program, and Sri Lanka's three largest bilateral lenders will also give the assurances after India has given it. Okay, so Japan is also expected to send these assurances soon, and it is important for Sri Lanka in getting a $2.9 billion package from the International Monetary Fund. So we all know about the Sri Lanka's debt crisis. This crisis which Sri Lanka had in 2022, it is much more worse than the economical crisis that it has faced around 1948. So today, the challenges includes shortage of dollars, a runaway inflation, as well as steep recession, which you can see in this respective graph. Okay, so therefore, Sri Lanka today owes India around $1 billion that will come under the debt restructuring plan. And even Sri Lanka's chances of swift assistance now depend on similar assurance from the other countries like China and Japan. Okay, so therefore, today we could see that even the Sri Lanka's capital, that is Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte, okay, this region has to be restructured again. Okay, and even we could see today that they are dealing with countries like Russia in exchange of Indian rupees. So therefore, we have seen that we are doing much more to this neighboring nation of us, because obviously Sri Lanka comes under the exclusive economic zone of India. Okay, though it's a separate country, but we can see every time Sri Lanka directly shows when the Indian map is directly shown in the whole world. So therefore, for security regions, for strategic regions, for even cultural relations also, since we know why Sri Lanka is so relevant for us. So for every perspective, we need Sri Lanka to be stabilized so that we could make some of the greater corporations in the coming times. Okay, तो यही न्यूज में था about the support. Okay, चलो next पे आते हैं biodegradable plastics. So recently क्या हुआ है कि गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी मॉडल्स इंस्टॉलिंग प्रोडक्शन ऑफ बायोडिग्रेडेबल प्लास्टिक्स, तो जी हाँ हम लोग का यहाँ पे बायोडिग्रेडेबल प्लास्टिक्स प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, तो बिकॉज ऑफ द लोक जाम दैट कैन बी सीन बिटवीन वेरियस मिनिस्ट्रीज एज वेल एज गवर्नमेंट, वी कुड सी दैट यहाँ पे इनका जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस है ये स्टॉल होके बैठा हुआ है. So what is this biodegradable plastic? See, these are those that can decompose naturally in the environment. And the makeup structure of biodegradable plastics makes them easily break down by natural microorganisms, giving an end product that is less harmful to the environment. So therefore, these biodegradable plastics are perceived to be more eco-friendly due to their environmental benefits, which are hard to deny compared to the ordinary plastics. So therefore, today, if you are using these biodegradable plastics, okay, which are mainly classified under two heads, bioplastics as well as the biodegradable plastics. Okay, bioplastics basically are made from natural substances such as the corn starch, as well as these biodegradable plastics are made from traditional petrochemicals but designed to break down faster. Okay, so therefore, through all these uses, we could see that we could leverage the environmental conditions which is depleting because of the use of these plastics. So therefore, the biodegradation has got two respective steps, basically the fragmentation and assimilation, and through that we could make the respective biodegradable plastics. So in that scenario, if I are using much more this biodegradable plastic, then we can see that the common use of such number of plastics which are freely available and which are like without any compulsions or without any respective process, it has been dumped in various areas, तो उसको हम लोग रोक पाएंगे. तो अभी देखते हैं कि अभी यहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट क्या पॉलिसी लेके आता है, लेकिन अभी just because of the government conflicts, we could see that biodegradable plastic is not made in India at a greater commercial rate. Okay, तो उसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे ये न्यूज में था. Okay, next पे आते हैं first tribal district to provide basic documents to all. So Kerala's Wayanad becomes the country's first district in the whole nation to provide the basic documents and facilities such as Aadhaar cards, ration cards, birth or death certificates, election ID cards, bank accounts, and health insurance to all tribal peoples. Apart from these basic documents, other services such as the income certificates, ownership certificates, age certificates, and application for new pensions are also provided at the respective camps, which has been organized in the respective city of Wayanad. Okay, it's basically a district, Wayanad in Kerala. So यहाँ पे देख सकते हो Wayanad sub collector R Sri Lakshmi collecting details of tribal persons at the campaign in Pojuthana. तो यहाँ पे देख सकते हो she is the lady, okay, who is basically the sub collector. Okay, तो यहाँ पे देख सकते हो कि through this camp, okay, which has been attained the meritorious achievement by providing around 1,42,563 services to as many as 65,000 tribal beneficiaries. So through this, we are directly making the documents digitalized through the digital locker, which will help the beneficiaries easily retrieve the documents in case they are lost and damaged. तो ये एक बेसिकली प्रैक्टिकली अभी शुरू हुआ है, तो देखते हैं आगे आगे जब हम लोग बढ़ते जाएंगे तो इट कैन बी प्रोमिनेटेड इन ऑल ओवर इंडिया. ओके, तो उसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे ये न्यूज में थे. चलो नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं अर्बन अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट. सो टुडे वी कुड सी अबाउट द रेशियो ऑफ अर्बन अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट इज ग्रोइंग फर्दर instead of going for an economic growth. So today's India's urban unemployment rate jumped to around 12.6% in the last quarter compared to the earlier quarter. So आज 12.6% है कब? Around April to June quarter of 2021, which is compared to 9.3% of 2020. ये बहुत ज्यादा है. And it is however eased from the 20.8% level since the first wave of the COVID pandemic. So today the unemployment rate has shot up sharply during the national lockdown, and data shows that peoples belonging to the age group of 15 to 29 group, 25.5% of the urban youth remain unemployed in this respective period. Even the cases is similar with the urban females also, because as compared to the females, it is around 31% of the females of the urban who are basically unemployed. So therefore, this unemployment rate is defined as the percentage of unemployment persons in the respective labor force. And therefore, today, if I have to see about the respective data coming in from the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, which provides regular data on unemployment. So it has been said that the urban unemployment rate has increased to a mass extent as compared to the last year quarter. और ये सब हो रहा है despite economical growth. तो आज इसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे एक टेंशन्स बना हुआ है कि कैसे हम लोग अपने जो अर्बन अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है उसको हम लोग कैसे रोक सकते हैं और कैसे थ्रू वेरियस नंबर ऑफ स्कीम्स वी कुड डायरेक्टली कंट्रीब्यूट फॉर बेटर respective employment services to the respective urban youth. So today, though some of the urban employment schemes such as the Swarna Jayanti Sahari Rozgar Yojana, which was launched back in 1987, ये सब ने काम किया था. Even MG Narega, even you could see about that how in Kerala the Ayankali urban employment guarantee scheme, in Orissa the Unnati or the urban wage employment initiative, in Himachal Pradesh Mukhyamantri Shahari Ajivika guarantee yojana, then in Madhya Pradesh we can see Mukhyamantri Yuva Swabhiman yojana, in Jharkhand we can see Mukhyamantri Samik yojana. So today all the schemes are basically focused to make the people who are basically in urban area to do some form of employment. तो उसी के बेसिस पे आज हम लोग का यहाँ पे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं कि क्यों हम लोग though we have getting some of the economical growth, still we cannot make the peoples in urban areas go for employment activities. So even you could see in the respective states, okay, where states with falls in joblessness can be seen. तो आज देख सकते हो कि अर्बन अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट एक बहुत बड़ा menace बन गया है in this country, which needs to be tackled up much more with the population that we have today in our country, having a good young population. Okay, तो उसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे ये डिस्कशन थे. चलो नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं एडिटोरियल में. देयर इज हार्डली एनी ऑटोनॉमी एट द पंचायत लेवल. तो ये बेसिकली लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट के बारे में बोल रहे हैं. और ये न्यूज क्यों आए? द आर्टिकल डिस्कसेस अबाउट द लेवल्स ऑफ ऑटोनॉमी दैट वी कैन सी एट द लोकल लेवल. ये आर्टिकल इसलिए इंट्रोडक्शन में थे क्योंकि few weeks ago an Upa Sarpanch in Telangana committed suicide due to indebtedness. And the state government's excessive delay in disbursing bill payments left him with the loan he had taken out to carry out developmental activities in the villages. And recently, some sarpanches of the Telangana resigned from office and voiced their anger at not receiving government funds for nearly a year. So therefore, state governments through the local bureaucracy continue to exercise considerable discretionary authority and influence over panchayats. तो आज यहाँ पे main issues क्या है? Issues with the autonomy. Panchayats, we all know, have the three main sources of funds. That is their own source of revenue, supposedly the local taxes, revenue from common property resources. फिर आता है grant in aid from the center and the state government. और तीसरा आता है discretionary or scheme based funds. So their own sources of revenue, both tax and non-tax, constitute a tiny proportion of the overall panchayat funds. And for instance, in Telangana, less than a quarter of panchayat's revenue come from its own sources of revenue. So therefore, the Gram Panchayats remain fiscally dependent on both the discretionary and the non-discretionary grants from the state as well as the center for everyday activities. So even the Sarpanch and the Panchayat Secretary, who reports it back to the block development officer, must co-sign checks issued for payment of Panchayat funds. And sometimes we could see the presence of MLAs and MPs restrain the functional of autonomy of the Panchayats. And even the poor shadow of bureaucrats can also be seen today with respective to devaluation of these funds to the respective panchayats. Because state governments also bind local governments through the local bureaucracy. And sarpanch can be dismissed while in office. And collectors can act against sarpanch for various reasons, such as abuse of power, embezzlement or misconduct, the conditions including even to carry out, which is basically in the hands of district collector. So therefore, today, genuine development depends on the grassroots level participation of the people. And its institutional support should come from the local self-government in a federal system. The performance of these institutions, in turn, is rooted with respect to their autonomy. Jitna autonomy doge, utna grassroots level mein zyada kaam hoga. So which implies that dispersal of functional powers to the lower level is a very eminent at this point of time. So therefore, the state and union government shall assign clear and productive revenue items to the enabling them with capacity to administer and even enforce the tax that they should levy upon. So therefore, if I need a real decentralization, sarpanch must have some of the administrative as well as financial authority instead of having with respect to the center as well as the states. So this situation in Telangana is reminder for state governments to re-examine the provisions of the respective gram panchayats and consider greater devaluation of funds, functions and functionaries to the respective local governments. So therefore, the peoples who are basically directly elected should have some of the powers so that they could involve much more towards the areas where they need to focus, basically living in the local self area. तो इसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे डिस्कशन थे, क्योंकि एक यहाँ पे उप सरपंच ने सुसाइड कर लिया है, तो आज यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन आया है कि क्यों हम लोग आज भी गांव को, हम लोग जितने भी रूरल एरियाज है जहां पे पंचायत चलती है, तो वहां पे हम लोग आज भी क्यों डेवलपमेंट नहीं कर पा रहे? इट इज ऑल बिकॉज ऑफ दिस वर्ड विच इज नोन एज ऑटोनॉमी. उनको ऑटोनॉमी दो, उनको फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्स दो, उनको एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का हक दो, देन यू कैन सी द रेस्पेक्टिव एरिया. और पनिश करना है तो तब करो जब वो लोग काम नहीं करेंगे. लेकिन टुडे यू शुड टेस्ट देम the respective thing which is known as power, so that we could make our respective areas of grassroots level, that is basically the rural areas, uplift and upfront as compared to some of the town areas. Okay, तो उसी के basis पे यहाँ पे ये discussion था, that is the editorial. So we have this 5 number MCQs. Please do attempt these MCQs and do join our WhatsApp as well as Telegram channel for further updates. Also do join us live at 8:45 PM sharp for solving some of the current affairs questions as well as some of the past 25 years question papers, questions, answers. Okay, chalo. That's all for today. Thank you and Jai.